What's up YouTube? This is Jason with JCS Reefing, and this is going to be episode 10 of the 100-gallon tank that I have. Now it's been about 3 months since my previous video. About 3 months ago was my 1-year update of this tank, and it was not really what I was expecting. And it came to be basically that my tank came down with some type of bacterial infection or something. Still don't know exactly what it was, but it wiped out a ton of stuff in my tank. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But let's get on with the tank that's currently at state. So just kind of some quick clips of some corals. First you saw the frog spawn colony, and you know, after this tank pretty much hit what I thought was a full tank crash, doing multiple water changes and, you know, staying on top of water chemistry, sending out ICP tests to try to figure out what was wrong. Believe it or not, they actually came back with nothing major. So I really do think it was just some type of bacterial infection in the tank, and it just caused a lot of chaos. It wiped out probably about 6 fish, a ton of coral, but 3 months later, as you can see here, you know, things are looking up. Every fish that is in this tank now, believe it or not, I have had over, I think, 3 years, and I don't know if it's, you know, out of the ordinary, but these are the fish that actually survived, you know, whatever the hell happened in my tank 3 months ago. But they're all doing good. I mean, corals are actually coming back to life. You know, these are just some clips of what's in the tank. I had a bunch of frags on a frag rack that I ended up, you know, wanting to monitor and see if they were gonna, you know, make it through whatever was going on 3 months ago. And I finally ended up just mounting them because I actually had my brother in town, and we decided, you know, I'm gonna change up this rock and the aquascape. So I'm sure if you look back at any of my older videos, they definitely, you know, the rockscape and aquascape look much different than what's here. But I'm really digging the new one. There's some archways, there's great, you know, open swim area in the middle. There's places for fish to hide. There's a lot of room for coral placement, and I definitely need to, you know, obviously find some time to cut back on some of the green star polyps. Believe it or not, that thing shriveled up to almost, you know, nothing, and it's coming back with a vengeance, like everyone warns you. But luckily that big colony in the middle is, you know, on its own island, and on the overflow I kind of made it do that, so I can just cut it, you know, scrape it, cut it down with a razor blade. But eventually I want it to kind of cover some of that up and see what that's going to look like. You can see some of the colors coming back on the hammer coral here. The akins were a little bit before that. My tank doesn't grow zoas really, you know, they don't really thrive in the system for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure. But believe it or not, these corals, most of these were not looking so good 3 months ago. So for me to have all this stuff, and especially this colony, I wish this colony was that bright green trumpet coral colonies, but it's not as beautiful, but it is still an awesome colony. It fills up a lot of space, and the video really doesn't do justice for this because it doesn't look huge, but it's actually quite big. And these are thriving now with the, you know, the new scape, and moved them down a little bit in the tank. The big bird's nest top left, that actually, you know, was doing fine during the when the tank started hitting its little mini crash there. Some of the leathers, like this one right here that you see, I got to kind of find a better place, move it up a little bit or something, and kind of find a better placement for it. But overall, this tank, you know, after 3 months of, you know, just keeping up on the water chemistry, it's amazing what can be changed by just knowing your tank, by testing your water frequently, by keeping up with some of your water changes, and in this case, you know, changing up some of the rock, you know, in the aquascape, giving it a little bit different flow, letting some more flow, you know, go through it. I was having problems with I don't know if it's turf algae or hair algae, but I was having some of that issues, and I figured it was a good time to kind of, you know, switch some things up, and that's why, you know, family in town helped me out and moving some of the rock around and giving me their input on that. So without further ado, man, this was just a quick update. So like, comment, subscribe, and as always, happy reefing. Please leave your comments, below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can change. Always love to hear from everybody, positive or negative. So as always, happy reefing. Cheers.